Hello? Hello? Is anyone out there? My name is Shauna. I'm a scientist. I'm a teacher, and I'm also trying to make a blog that is a little different from some of the more really researched and planned ones that I have from before. Something a little bit more personal. So, the past couple of weeks here in the Philippines has been marked with a lot of change, a lot of upheavals, some would say. And I'm the type of person where change, whether it's something I like, something I was looking forward to, or something I don't like, well, the concept of change really just freaks me out. And quite honestly, this has made me demotivated in my work and even in this channel. So, most of my productivity for the past couple of days, for the past week, has been mostly driven by fear. Fear of failure and fear of, disappointing other people. So I wonder, for my viewers, for my science fans out there, what do you do to avoid demotivation? So how do you deal with all of these negative emotions that can hamper your progress or your growth? So I hope some of you can share your thoughts in the comment section, either in any of my social media channels or even in this YouTube channel itself. So anyway, last week, I could barely get out of bed, but I'm a bit relieved that this week, I've been able to get back on my feet. I've been able to meditate. I've been able to get back to my exercise regimen. But for me, meditating is actually not something easy. It was tough for me at first because my headspace has a tendency to be really noisy.
No! God, please, no! No!
So, quieting down and focusing on the breath at the starting point of meditation, that's usually the hardest part for me. But I often try to do it as regularly as possible, ideally every day. Because after meditating, I usually feel relieved. I feel proud of myself for having done it. But also I feel even more relaxed compared to, even sleeping for 7 to 8 hours. Sometimes meditating ends up relaxing me more.
Wow.
And so I did some research, and I think I even made a video about meditating, which I'll probably post somewhere here or here later. But anyway, I did some research about why meditating is useful for some people. And according to the bit of research I found, this happens because meditation activates our autonomic nervous system. And this portion of our brain is responsible for the involuntary processes in our body, including heart rate, blood pressure, breathing, digestion, and even sexual arousal. So this is also combined with an increase in parasympathetic nerve activity, which brings our body to the quiet, rest, and digest mode. I guess with meditation, our body just gets to be forced into a situation where it deals with the basic processes that keeps us alive and functioning efficiently. But I don't know, that's just some basic research on my part. So if any of you experts are out there, we would love to hear your thoughts about how and why meditation works, because it's really very interesting for me. But for today, I really don't have much time to rest and digest because it's defense season for DOST projects. What this basically means is we are scheduled to present some of the results of our ongoing government-funded projects and show enough evidence that we are worthy of extension and perhaps even additional funding. On one hand, I appreciate the process because I think it keeps us sharp. It forces us to consistently recalibrate to become more efficient. And it also reminds us of how important, our science is. It forces us to figure out where does our science fit in the Filipino society or even greater society in general. But on the other hand, it's actually quite exhausting. Getting people to sign your reports, aligning your budgets with the amount of money that you just spent, doing accounting and all of these things. Those are very, very important aspects of research. But yeah, they really exhaust me. And so I'm very lucky that I have an amazing team who has the talent, the patience to deal with this part of research. Without these people, we wouldn't be able to take off and do the fun and amazing things that we get to do as scientists. So I'm very, very grateful. Very, very grateful for my team. I remember when I was much, much younger, when I was the research assistant or the research associate, I actually had zero idea of how science research was being funded in the Philippines. A part of me thought na, maybe it's automatic, if once I'm a scientist, people will just give me money and let me do the things that I want to do. It was actually a very steep learning curve for me, trying to figure out how to get a proposal out for funding. Mostly because when you're writing a proposal which is to be submitted to funding agencies, it's quite a bit different from the research proposals we've been taught to write in school. Because the research proposals that we write in school are mostly for thesis. And though the procedures are generally the same, the parts are the same, the language can be a bit different. Some funding agencies prefer a very technical proposal, while others prefer one that is more layman-friendly, mostly because the members of the committee that will eventually screen your proposal, they usually come from different backgrounds. And so we have to be able to write a research proposal in such that even if my primary field is in biology or molecular biology, an engineer or a computer scientist should be able to understand the primary purpose of what I want to do and how I plan to do it. So that can be a bit challenging, especially if we're trained to write very, very technically. A part of me wishes that there was a way for us to incorporate these kinds of needs in the curriculum of our students, whether it's in the undergrad level or in the master's or even PhD level. Mostly because, I remember learning a lot of laboratory techniques and a lot of them are actually obsolete now. I think the process of getting a grant from the past 10 years have generally been similar. And I wish some of the time I spent in school could have been dedicated to learning how to do these things. Because I know there are workshops out there available, but if there was a more formal way to do that, I think that would help a lot of young scientists get on their feet and, hit the ground running and figure out how they can get funding to do the research that they want to do. But that's just me. I mean, I would love to hear your thoughts on incorporating how to write research proposals for government funding or for external funding, in the curriculum of scientists here in the Philippines. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. I'm feeling a little nervous because our schedule for defense is around 2 p.m. today. And I think my nervousness has gotten worse over time. Mostly because when I was a student, when we do defense, it's for a passing grade or a high grade or even an award. But when you're a project leader, right now, if I fudge up this defense,
No!
I'd be fudging up the livelihood of the students, of the employees under my team. And I'm really just hoping for the clarity of mind to be able to show that we did the work, we worked hard, we were able to figure out certain things, and we just need a little bit more time so that we can write the papers, and we need a little bit more money because we need to do follow-up travel on certain locations. So I'm so nervous, and I think doing this blog helps me release some of that tension. So wish me luck. But anyway, beyond that, we also have a lot of exciting things happening this week. I'm scheduled to travel with my team to the Brother Alfred Shields Marine Station, or BRAMS, in Lian, Batangas this coming weekend. So we have several sets of activities that we're hoping to do, which includes the termination of an experiment, a feeding experiment on mangrove crabs, because we were able to identify some traditional feeds that some of our fishers claim to help improve the quality of crab roe. That is a valued secondary product that we get from mangrove crabs, or alimango, here in the Philippines. So we're testing the results of that this coming weekend. Apart from that, we also have a batch of crabs that have been acclimated, and we're going to see if some traditional methods for species identification in juveniles can actually work in a controlled environment, while also hopefully, eventually, if our extension today is approved, we're hoping to test these same methods in the wild. So like, would we still be able to use these techniques if the crablets were like freshly harvested from their natural environment? Apart from that, on Friday also, I will be guesting in a STEM workshop where we're going to have the opportunity to talk to a lot of young people, answer some of their questions on why they should study STEM here in the Philippines. So, that's one of the advocacies that we have here in SHE-ensya, and it's always such an honor, and it's so much fun to be part of other kinds of activities that promote these kinds of things also. So I'm pretty excited to be part of that this coming Friday afternoon, I believe. So for those of you who are curious to attend this event, I'll be posting some of the details in the description of this video. So yeah, pretty fun. We're off to a very busy weekend by the beach. So that's always very, very exciting.
Live long and prosper.
So what do you think of content like this? A bit more chill, less editing, less canned scripts and content, still a little bit of sprinkling of science here and there, some science factoids, and also, the realities of being a scientist here in the Philippines. And also, I definitely, again, would love to hear feedback from our other scientists out there on some of the things that I talk about or mention in this video. I'd really love to hear you and maybe even interview you in something like this in the future. I'd love to hear your comments, especially about motivation techniques, because I would love to be more up and about for the next couple of days. And I'd also love to hear your questions. What do you want to know about doing science here in the Philippines? What do you want to know about the rigors of a life as a scientist or as a teacher, or even as a content creator in the field of science here in the Philippines? So I'd love to hear all of your thoughts on that. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you around. Bye!